We live, baby. Yes,
We in here.
sir.
We in here.
Good,
What
what's
up?
good, what's good, y'all?
Let's go, everybody. TTE
Adjust his
Tuesday.
camera. Yes, sir. I know y'all are used to seeing three faces, three squares, but today you get myself, you get Vita,
We in here.
Tavita Van Pelt. Probably have some stuff he had to
Oh,
take
shoot.
care of, so he'll be joining us on Thursday, NBA edition.
Let's go.
Which, honestly, man, that man was probably looking forward to the NFL and the NBA edition, given what's going on with both his
Oh,
teams.
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm out here disappointed. I picked the Rams. I don't know why I'm over here depending on Matt Stafford, man.
Yeah.
That's what I get. Make
Oh,
it.
yeah. I'm not going to do that.
We making things interesting though when it comes to a Cream City kickback
Oh,
wheel of
yeah.
consequences, man. What is Cepha induced like 106, 106 and 108?
Dude just hit 100. Dude's just hit 100. So
Oh,
if he
so
has
he's
good,
like 100.
yeah. Yeah, he just hit 100. And I
Cepha,
think he
man.
might be 101 if he took the Redskins. I don't remember, but he's so far back that, like, he can't have another one of his regular weeks, so that's just a wrap for him.
Also, he's okay. So he's 104. Deuce is 100. Me and you are tied at 111. So
Yeah.
I don't think they're gonna make enough bold picks, and I don't think we're gonna soil picks
Yeah.
to move down. Like CMC's out. I probably won't pick the Panthers no more unless it's a very, very favorable matchup.
Only game I plan on picking us is Atlanta out the bye week.
I could take
Next
that.
week, yeah,
Kyle
next
Pitts
week
has
we got
been
Atlanta out. Yeah, next week we got Atlanta out the bye week. So we lose that game. I mean, I don't really plan to pick us anymore. Anyway,
yeah. Kyle Pitts has been extremely underwhelming over there, especially with Calvin Ridley out.
yeah.
But we'll get into that. We'll get into that a little bit more. We're gonna start it off with Mr. Moonwalk Follows normal segment of his new segment for Tuesdays. We introduced it last Tuesday. Is called On the Spot.
On the spot.
On the spot. The first question is, what is one pet peeve that never gets done again? What does that mean? What is
One
one
pet
pet?
peeve. So when he saw that, I thought it was just your personal pet peeve, and mine's as of right now is like when my kids move my sandals. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, like I take off like as soon as I come home, I'm out my work shoes and my sandals, and like when I can't find my sandals, like I be mad. So if I had to just think of a pet peeve right now, yeah, it's when they mess with my sandals, I be hot.
So a pet peeve that you could get rid of, never happen again. For me,
Oh, yeah.
damn, I don't know. What is a pet peeve? Um, bruh, when somebody got to say something and they don't. When somebody got to say a pet peeve that you have never done again. I don't know. Am I just reading it wrong? He
Hmm.
threw it in the chat. A pet peeve that you have never done again.
Pet peeve, like to somebody else.
Maybe. Pet peeve that you've never done again.
Might have to ask him to double back on that one
We're
and
gonna
let
come
us
back to
know.
this one.
Yeah, we might have to ask him to double back.
I don't know. I still don't understand it. We're gonna let Pollock throw details
Yeah,
in
we
there.
might have to let him
I'm gonna go to
clarify
the next one.
next when he comes back.
People who don't use their signal, like it's there to alert other drivers where you're going. Oh, yep, that's a pet
Oh,
peeve.
okay. Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. People
Oh
that
yeah,
don't.
cool. Yeah, opening the door and people don't say thank you.
Ooh,
Yeah,
facts.
opening the door and people don't say thank you. I always open the door for people. If somebody walk by and don't say, I'll be like, yo, speak up, man.
I'll be saying hella loud. You're welcome, and they turn
Yeah.
around like when you grab them by the back of their collar, pull them back in, and then close the door.
Yeah.
Are we gonna go to the next one? What is one thing you wish you knew about never get answered? One thing you wish you knew about that will never get answered. Are you
I feel
sitting
like
there,
I
dude?
should. I feel like I should ask something real serious. I feel like I should ask something real serious. But if I'm like in a childish way, I just really want to know how the first Hokage died. You know what I'm saying? You really
How
want to know
did
how the first
what
soldier?
was
Yeah,
Toby Rama?
yeah.
Oh no, not Toby Rama.
Hashirama.
Hashirama. Hashirama
Yeah,
send
I
you.
really want to know how he died. I
How
mean, a
did
lot of people be speculating, and it sounds close enough. I just really want to know how he died.
how
But if
did
I can ask, yeah, something want to really know but don't.
you will never get the
Ah,
answer to?
something really know or we don't. We'll never get the answer to. You go ahead, because I might have to double look. I might be able to kind of go back off of that one after that.
TTE Super Crip said, I wish I knew about Bitcoin invested before it blew up. Now, it's something that you wish you knew, but you'll never know
Wish you
the
knew, but
answer
never
to.
knew. Like, but we know, like,
Like, it's still a question, but we'll never know the answer to it. Same, she's stupid.
it's the same
Uh,
thing. All
man.
right.
All right. I'm gonna stay along the anime line. It's for Seven Deadly Sins. I know not a lot of people watch that. I'm trying to figure out what happens to Meliodas and Homegirl. Is the curse broken forever? Or nah? The damn creator say he not gonna create any more seasons. He gonna create one movie to wrap it up. I don't need a movie. It's an anime. Keep making shows. What are
I
you
feel like I
doing?
should really be asking something like mind blowing. Like, what do I wish I can know the answer to? I really feel like it should be something big,
I got one.
like
For,
government
for,
conspiracy
for
big.
me is a big one. Was Dr. Sebi assassinated for his discoveries on natural curing treatments?
Yeah, okay, yeah, that'd be a
That's
good one.
one like I'm
That'd be a
super
good one.
curious because I see so many people, bro, talking about they cure cancer, HIV, AIDS, all of these different things with just all natural remedies
Yeah,
based on Dr. Sebi's research and all of that. Well, let's say aliens. Ooh, yeah, I
yeah.
don't need an answer to that.
I don't want to answer that.
If aliens is real, let them be real. Unless they gonna give me some powers like Thor or something like that,
So
nah.
for me, it's like, why do you bother with something that ain't bothering with you? If they out there, they minding their business, bro. Just leave them
They ain't
alone. You know
leaving
what I'm
us
saying?
alone.
Yeah, like just leave them alone, bro. Like what you going out there bothering them for? That's what irritates people. Let them go about their business.
Yeah, probably leave the aliens alone.
Yeah, that's a good one. I might have to double back like on like a historical question that maybe we don't know.
Are we gonna swing back
Oh,
on? We gonna swing
oh,
back.
oh!
Oh, he got it.
Did
Got it.
they really solve the JFK murder? You know what I'm saying? They really did.
Yo,
They really solve the JFK? Like, did he really get?
yo,
You know what I'm saying? That'd be crazy.
they had that way too in detail too. The way they
Yeah,
solved it, like they were like, he
yeah,
came from this window at this angle at
yeah,
this time.
yeah,
Like
yeah. A JFK murder would be great.
y'all made that way too detailed, and then when it come to Martin Luther King, it was just he stood there and shot him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, the next question is, what are you ashamed of as a child that you're still ashamed of till this day?
I'm ashamed of as a child. Still
Ooh,
ashamed of.
that could be such a deep question.
Man,
That could be such
I've
a
done
deep
some.
question.
I've done some embarrassing things. So let me see. I
He
jumped
used the
down.
word ashamed though.
Okay, ashamed.
Serena said how
Um.
rude my mom is.
Oh wow. So
Hey,
there was a
don't
there
put
was
the
yeah there was
JK in
a
there.
it. I'm ashamed of it because I shouldn't have been that dumb and did it, but I did it. Uh, but our church was like redoing the heating and cooling, I guess, in like one of the rooms, and we was all playing. And my cousin had a fire extinguisher going in circles with it, and I jumped down the air conditioning vent, and it was like 10 feet down. And I landed like at the bottom of the air conditioning vent, and I was just like sitting there for like an hour and a half. And then yeah,
Dang.
and then finally, like, well, you know what? I don't know how long. I know they did call the cops in the fire department, but right before they got there, like everybody took off their ears and tied it together, and I grabbed on and they pulled me up. But I fell twice. Like I fell
Oh,
twice, and I grabbed on and they pulled me up, and then I got to the top and tried to grab the edge and fell down, and I did it again.
he said he was in there twice for an hour
Yeah,
and a half.
yeah. I know. I don't know how long. I'm not gonna say how long. I know they did call the cops in the fire department, but I know they got me up before they showed up. They still showed up, but I was out before they showed up.
Jeez, bro, that's a long time, dog.
Yeah.
That's a
I don't
long
know how
time.
long. It felt like, I'm not gonna lie, it probably wasn't as long as that, but I know it was a little bit.
That's a long time, dog. What am I ashamed? All right, so you go on YouTube and you search "Funny Samoans 310." There's a handful of videos I did in my front yard when I was living in Torrance. I was in college. I consider myself still a kid at that point. The fact that YouTube still got them 10, 12 years later, nah, that mug's still a shame, bro. I went right through
Oh
the
yeah.
comments the other day, bro. When I went right through the comments, people still in there commenting. You know, like this comment if you're still laughing at this in 2021. I'm like, what is? There's
Hey,
so many other
hey,
videos to be
hey,
looking
so
at.
I saw one like 2 months ago about Naruto where a dude rightfully predicted who Toby was and gave like a 20-minute video on he was like, I am 100% sure that, and then like people was like roasting him like, you idiot, you know what I'm saying?
That's
And
tough.
then people were like, yo, if you're in 2021 and you're rewatching this, you know what I'm saying? Why does the algorithm do that?
Dang.
It
Yeah,
was crazy.
bro.
They was like, yo, you was the only person, you know what I'm saying, who thought this.
All right, Serena said, man, when we was young, my parents used to make us perform like we was. There's still videos of embarrassing moments because my mom had too much faith in us. Oh, dang. Yeah, so
Ew,
little
he said
backstory
picking
on
his
that.
boogers and trying it.
Who said
Ew.
picking that boogers? This food pilot. Ew. Hey,
Ew.
you had to have been young though. We'll let that one
Yeah,
slide.
that's nasty.
What does the perfect day consist of? The perfect day.
Perfect
Ooh,
day.
I got it. I wake up. I eat a meat and mushroom omelet. Perfect. That's a perfect start.
Okay.
Meat and mushroom
Okay.
omelet. And when I like some sausage meat, maybe even some steak meat, like some shredded steak meat with some mushrooms on it, omelet, perfect start. After that, I get to game for like 2 hours. Then I go hoop for like 2 hours. Come home, take a shower, go to the arcade with Serena and get beat up in tokens because I don't ever win tokens because I suck at any games having to do with any kind of tickets or anything. And then ending it at a Lakers game. Perfect
That's
day.
tight.
Lakers winning. Lakers winning. Because right now we
Okay, yes.
suck. We
Yours is
suck.
good. Yours is good. Mine's just wake up to the moolie, go to the moolie, and go to sleep to the moolie. That's good enough for me.
Let's go.
That's all I need is no more, no less. No more, no
Oh,
less.
hara for Israel. Hara. Hara for Israel.
That's it. That's it. If I get some
Let's
barbecue
go.
or some breakfast in the middle of that, ain't it what it is? You know what I'm saying? I'm cool with
Hey,
that.
February 10th to 14th, you gonna have one perfect day.
One perfect day.
Let's go.
Hey, no.
Oh
Oh,
man, let's go. Wake up to the morning. Oh man. Oh, perfect day is to have a yes day. Dang, I'm never gonna give you a yes day, Serena. Not never. Not never. She's in right here. She heard all of that.
damn.
What is the best Wi-Fi name you've seen? Best Wi-Fi name you've seen. We got some interesting ones around here, just in our neighborhood.
Oh, so there's only one. I haven't seen too many, but it's only one, and it was a no, you can't. Like, no, you can't get my password.
What's the
Yeah, that was the only one.
oh, drop $1 for 20 minutes. It said drop one and then the dollar sign and then it said for 20 minutes. Drop a
No,
dollar for 20 minutes. Last one on here. What is the hardest thing to give up?
soda.
The moolie.
Man, nah, soda.
So hardest thing to give up. Damn. What is the hardest thing to give up?
Having a couple kids, you got to go 6 weeks in between the wait. but I ain't going 6 weeks between a Baja Blast.
Give that man his due. Damn, the hardest thing to give up, gaming. Gaming, bruh. When I went to the Philippines, I took my Xbox with me. Hey, so check this out. I took my Xbox with me, right? In the Philippines, their ports are different.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like, it's not a 110 or a 220. It's a whole different voltage, bruh. So me and my two other coworkers, all three of us had our Xboxes. It's like we plugged our Xboxes in at the same time. We blew out the fuses on the whole
Oh
floor.
hell no.
And then we called room service up. We was like, man, I don't know what happened. You know, the next day, all three of us also called down asking for a transformer that converts it to a 210 or a 110 and a 220. And so the guy comes up with the transformer and goes, were y'all the ones that blew out the floor? Like, shut your mouth. Give me that transformer, bro.
Yeah. No, get him out of
I'm trying to
here,
play
man.
my game. The hell?
Hey, that's hilarious.
All right, that wraps it up for On the Spot. We're going to have another segment of it next week. Opening, we'll have Polly with us. And then, what's our Thursday segment? Thursday segment is
This or that.
this or that. So tap in Thursday for the NFL session. This is all you tap in for. That's cool. Come in Thursday for the first 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes for this or that.
Oh yeah.
But man, jumping into the NFL week 12. Week 12, man.
Week 12.
It was an interesting week. Another one of those any given Sunday moments.
Yeah.
But where you at with week 12, man? What's your thoughts on week 12 so far?
So I'm not shocked at the Green Bay win. I'm also not shocked at the Rams loss. I just don't think. I think if Rams Green Bay played 10 times, Green Bay would win 7 of them. And I even think if you split them, Green Bay would win every home matchup and half of the ones in the other stadium.
Hmm.
I just don't. So defensively, I think not having Brandon Staley, who's coaching for the Chargers now, is like kind of showing itself for them.
For the
But
Rams?
at the same, yeah, for the Rams, I think it's kind of showing itself for them. It's still a good defense, and it's just Rodgers in that offense, man. He did some things that only he could do. You know what I'm saying? So I think the score didn't show. I think the score made the game look closer than it felt. I felt like top to bottom,
Yeah.
Green Bay was
Yeah.
just better that entire game. And even though at the end you could be like, it's a one possession game, yeah, but it wasn't that. They went to their shell defense, hurry up, get the game over with, kind of, make the Rams their worst enemy. So that game was one. I don't want to jump ahead into the other topics of them. The 49ers win over the Vikings, which was one of our soiled and cemented ones, right?
Niners,
Um,
Vikings. Oh yeah.
yeah, Niners, Vikings. That matchup, I picked the right winner, so I was glad on that. The
I
Bucks,
think I picked
Colts.
49ers. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I think that one definitely lived up to the hype for sure.
yeah, Bucks, Colts did. To hear Fournette get 4 TDs is like,
Against a
yeah,
team that just scored 5 rushing touchdowns a week before.
yeah, yeah,
I mean, if that wasn't a statement game, I don't know what is.
yeah. And again, I still think it's a good game. I just think right now, I just think the Bucks are better right now, but you could get to the playoffs and the Colts still trending the way that they are. They probably wouldn't want to see him again. You
Yeah,
know
the
what I'm
Colts.
saying?
Colts are a scary team, man.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
mean, what was it? I think Carson Wentz threw like 2 picks, I think.
yeah.
But he don't throw
One
those 2
pick was
picks.
just yeah, one pick was just a really good play though. So I'm not about to.
Yeah.
Yeah. That Winfield one where he just kind of snatched. That was just a really good play. So I can't soil him on that one.
Yeah, I think
What about?
all in all, the week definitely lived up to its hype. I think it kind of just supports what you talked about earlier in the season. Some of these teams are starting to get healthy at the right time and they're starting to hit their stride, like the Bucks, like the Bills. The Raiders came out as surprise against Cal. I think they broke a record for like one of the most viewed games on
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah.
That game, but That'll actually move us into the next segment of soiled or cemented, man. Soiled or cemented.
Yep.
We first introduced this last week, and this is basically just on the playoff picture for these teams going
Playoff
forward.
pictures.
Starting with that,
Strictly games with playoff implications. If we think that team's win or loss took their chances away or guaranteed their chances.
this will be
So,
starting with that Minnesota Vikings, San Francisco 49ers game. San Francisco came out on top 34-26. Jimmy Garoppolo played a Jimmy Garoppolo-ish game. One of the most
17 to
surprising things coming
26.
out was Deebo Samuel, man. Deebo Samuel, 6 carries, 66 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Well,
Soiled or cemented? So we'll start with the soil part, man. Do you think the Vikings soiled it by losing today, or by losing Sunday, losing this game, kind of playoff implications going forward?
no, I don't think as a team they soiled it, but I do think as an injury to Dalvin Cook, it possibly did. So
Yeah,
I don't think this loss takes him out of the playoffs, but I think losing Dalvin Cook for a couple weeks could.
and they already said he's out this week too.
Yeah. So I
So
think that's what's gonna probably mess up their chances over the next couple weeks.
because Green Bay's just
But
gonna
they
continue to sit in that one spot, right? We can go and take a look at the playoffs.
Cardinals is technically the one spot right now, right?
Oh yeah. So in that whole division, but in that
Yeah.
conference, Green
In
Bay's
that
gonna stay
conference,
there.
Green Bay has their spot. Green Bay is going to win that division, and they're going to be should be no lower than the number 2 seed. So
Arizona's coming off a bye week,
yeah,
but right now
let's see
Minnesota's
right
at
now.
8, looking in at Washington at 5, but they also have the
Washington
same
at 5.
record. So there's one, two, three,
Yeah,
four. There's 5 teams right now tied at 5 and 6, with Philly at 5 and 7 after losing this last week.
yeah.
They
So yeah, why? Again, I don't think, but Minnesota has Detroit this week. So again, should be a fairly clean game, getting it out. And then I don't know who they have the week after, but I making sure that they keep the next 2 games because again, now that they've lost that tiebreaker to Frisco, that's what pushed them out.
yeah, so they have Detroit. They got Pittsburgh, Chicago.
Chicago,
They'll have the Rams a couple weeks before the end of the season. They got to play the Packers, and they wrap it up in Chicago. So
so the only games that they can afford to drop are the Rams and the Packers. They need to sweep the Bears. They need to take care of the Lions, and they need to take care of Pittsburgh and lock in your spot.
that'll put them at 11 and 6. So, or if they were to win out, they'd be at 11 and 6. They'd be at 9-8.
Nine
They were
and
to
eight,
drop those 2 games. You
and
think
that's
9-8
that.
is enough?
Yes, yes, yes. I think 9 and 8 is enough
Oh,
because for if you go look at San Francisco, who's now technically in the playoff picture and who they have left, they have a lot of division opponents left.
yeah.
So we see what 49ers have.
49ers have Seahawks next week. I think it's a fairly easy
Seahawks next
win.
week.
You got the Bengals, the Falcons, the Titans, the Texans, and the Rams.
Yeah, so the Bengals will be a tight one. I'll give them a dub with the Falcons. It's still a toss up with Seattle, especially Seattle being at home. But let's say we give them a dub there. Let's say they lose to Cincinnati. They beat the Falcons. That'll put them at 8 and 6. So they're also looking at a 9 and 8 end because they got Tennessee and the Rams, and we'll scratch those as 2 L's. So again, even if they finish 9 and 8, they got the tiebreaker over
They got the
Minnesota.
tiebreaker. It's gonna be interesting, man. There's a whole lot of movement still to be made. Usually around this time is when things start to get interesting. But do you think the 49ers cemented anything with their win?
No, because they have those division games, and the Rams aren't gonna. The Rams will probably truly be fighting. And Debo Samuel's out for like 2 weeks now, I think.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I think if I read right, Debo Samuel's out for like 2 weeks now.
That's a huge loss for
So
them for sure.
yeah,
I think the only running back
so
right now is Elijah Mitchell.
yeah, so I'm not. Yeah, No, and I don't think, like you said, there's no such thing as a bad running back to us. You know what I'm saying? But Debo was killing it for a couple weeks, man. He was really putting it on, and I think that's gonna hurt him. Because again, like we both know, Jimmy G has to have a lot going on around him for that team to win.
Yeah.
And if you're
Well,
gonna sit on his backpack, it's not gonna work.
think it says a lot about their faith in Jimmy G's ability to get the ball to Debo in order for him to make a play by throwing Debo in the backfield.
Yeah,
So to me, that's almost a vote of confidence that they, or lack thereof, that they have in Jimmy G, and the fact that they
yeah,
got to put Debo in the back there just to give him the ball.
yep,
So
yeah,
next one on the list is the Chargers and the Broncos. Man, Broncos came out, made a statement against the Chargers. They ended up winning, man. I think this was they won the game on defense. To be honest with you, Patrick
yeah. They did.
Surtain, and this is a whole different subject. One of my biggest issues with the NFL and their reporting, man, is they come up with the most random stats. Granted, this one's a pretty cool one. Patrick Surtain, the second, had his first pick six in Denver. Patrick Surtain Sr. had his very last career pick
Yes,
six in
I've seen
Denver.
that. And some stuff is just irrelevant. We don't really. I mean, yeah, it's cool, but whatever.
I like, how do I
Um,
don't need to know that.
so the Broncos, the guys, so these two to me is just like the last two, where now the Chargers kind of soiled away what we thought was going to be a guaranteed spot to now, yo, the Broncos might steal a spot.
But
Because I do think their defense is good enough, and they do have a good enough running game to where they produce. Um, their upcoming schedule, what they see, they got the Bengals this
Bengals,
week. Yeah,
Giants,
you can go ahead and mark that down as an early soiled or cemented. So the Chargers is back on the list because if they lose to the Bengals, call it a day. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I
I
would
think
pretty much have to call it a day on them, and I don't want to.
the Bengals are right there, right behind Baltimore in that division too.
Yeah. So Bengals don't want to lose. So that's that. Yeah, go ahead and mark that one on. That was one of them that I had. New York, I want to give you the dub. You're gonna play Kansas City on a short week. That'll be a tough game. Again, I still want to lean towards them on that game,
Yeah, they'll
but
be at home.
yeah, we'll see how that looks over the next 2 weeks. You get a dub with Houston, and then again, you're back in a toss up with Denver and Oakland. And
Yep.
either way it goes, I don't see you ending winning both of those back to back. You're going to drop one of them, and depending on which one you drop, you might lose the tiebreaker again.
They're gonna come out roughly 10-7. If we're looking at, if we're gonna assume that they beat Cincinnati, which I don't think they do.
Yeah,
They beat New York, they beat Kansas City at home, they beat Houston. If they only get those 3 wins out of the next 6 games, they're gonna be nine
nah,
and what, nine and
9-8,
eight.
9-8.
I don't think that's good enough to get in. I mean, we'll go take a look at the playoff picture on that side. 9-8 for them. Right now, they're the 7th seed. So everyone in front of them only has to win 2 games. The Raiders
Yeah,
have a pretty solid schedule going forward. They just got to win a couple games. The Broncos are right there. The Indianapolis Colts are gonna bump somebody out of the playoffs, and I think it's
yeah,
gonna be that 6 or 7 spot.
yeah,
So I know beginning of the season we were very pro Herbert. We're still pro Herbert, but
yeah,
as a
yeah, yeah, yeah,
team,
yeah,
man, I just don't think coaching is putting them in the right position to
yeah,
succeed.
yeah. So can we see Cincinnati's remaining schedule because they're interesting to me, especially having a matchup with the Chargers this week. I'm almost putting it on money that whoever loses this game takes themselves out of the playoffs, just because that AFC race is as close as it's going to be. But
So
seeing the remaining,
before we go into the Bengals schedule, if we're looking at cemented or soiled, for this game specifically, right? We can agree that neither one of them cemented anything.
yeah, neither one cemented.
It just made it.
But
I think it was almost the Chargers soiling it because this was a
yeah,
very
no, no, I
winnable
agree.
game.
I agree. The Chargers soiled this, but I can't give Denver cementing it. You know what I'm saying?
So we'll move on from this one. Go take a look at the Bengals' remaining schedule. Um, they're actually a topic that we're going to be talking about next, going into the playoff picture. But Bengals got some tough games ahead, man. Some tough
Very, very
games
tough.
ahead.
I'm of the mind looking at this schedule now. Was if there was ever a team that says if you make it in, I wouldn't want to play you, it's Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about them, but if you can go from where you are now at a fifth seed, get through this gauntlet of teams you're about to play, and still be in the playoffs, you gotta be somebody that everybody should take notice of.
Yeah. There's something about Joe Burrow, man. I've been flicking back and forth between those games anytime he is playing. There's something about Joe Burrow that it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know what I see in you just yet, but you
Yeah,
got something, man. Like, you got something.
yeah. Everybody they're playing is everybody else has a what we could probably call a gimme game or two on their schedule, but
Yeah.
they're playing playoff people for the rest of the year.
Yeah, they don't have one. I mean, I'd almost say Cleveland, but
Yeah,
I think by then, week 18, they're gonna have Kareem Hunt completely healthy. They're gonna have Nick Chubb. I think they'll be as healthy as they'll be in about week 16, week 15. So,
and they're still fighting for their life too. So
but let's talk about it,
yeah,
man. That actually takes us into the next segment, which is the playoff picture, right? We're looking at the playoff picture with the matchup next week. Actually, go to week 13 matchups. So, week 13 matchups. First one we have on the list is the Bengals versus the Chargers. It's not clicking over week 13.
that's cool. Yeah, I told you that that's already you can mark that down for a soil to cement it because one of these teams is gonna walk away pretty much losing their chances of getting into the playoffs.
Yeah. Bengals are at home, man. I almost feel like this is going to be a soiled moment for the Chargers. Bengals are just hitting their stride, man, and they do exactly what we talked about. We continue to talk about week to week. They run the ball. They run the ball, and they run it. They run it very, 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 very efficiently.
Yeah,
So the fact that you
yeah,
can
I'm
run the ball, you can play that play action with T Higgins. You got what the hell's his name over there from LSU,
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. You got a lot of options over there once you establish that run game. And the first quarter of these games, of every Bengals game I've talked about, has been ugly because it's just been pounding the rock. Pounding the rock, throwing short slants, pounding the rock. By the end of the game, somehow Joe Burrow got 3 touchdowns.
Yep. Yeah, so they this yeah, I think this is the this for me this is the like most single important game of the weekend. You
Chargers,
said bank
Bengals.
because the Bengals have to. Man, they got a gauntlet that they're about to face, and if they can make it in, man, I wouldn't want to play them.
And I mean, if they win, let's actually see where that puts them in their division.
They would still be under the Ravens,
They still be under the Ravens. And I think the
so
Ravens
they
own the. Actually, no. Cincinnati owns a tiebreaker, don't they?
no, I don't think so.
Didn't Cincinnati come in there and beat up on Baltimore?
Yeah, they did, but they still got one more
But
matchup.
yeah, so they still got one more game. But
So even if they win and Baltimore wins, no matter what, they'll still be at 5.
so
So they'll be at the 5 seed.
they're in a solid spot. But I think we can agree that if the Chargers lose this, they soil it. The Bengals
Yeah.
win it. They don't cement anything, but they do put themselves in a really good position to
If
end the year out.
if they had a gimme game after winning this, like a Texans or Lions, I'd be like, oh yeah, y'all in there. But they don't. Like they got division
Kansas
opponents and other
City,
play.
yeah,
Yeah, San Francisco, still
and
Cleveland. Like you still got to go through a whole 5 very tough weeks. So Bengals pull it out. Hey, hats off to you, man. I'm not gonna take nothing from you.
they got Baltimore again. But all right, man. I
Yep,
think we can agree on that. The next one that we have is the Patriots and the Bills this week.
Pats and Bills.
Patriots and the Bills. That's a Monday night game. The Patriots have been on a hell of a tear, man. Hell of a tear. I think all of the sports world, including the media, need to. All of y'all owe Bill Belichick an apology. He don't need it, but y'all owe that man an apology, man.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
after Tom
Again,
Brady came
it's
out and won the Super Bowl in the perfect situation, it is as good of a situation any quarterback could have possibly been in.
yep,
Granted, Tom Brady got the IQ and the experience to go through that. Came out with a Super Bowl, coming out this year stumbling because the schemes that he's working on isn't as thorough as that video that I sent y'all of Bill Belichick and Tom Brady sitting in the room
yep,
scheming for Ed Reed.
yeah.
I don't think those conversations look like that over there anymore in
No, they
Tampa.
don't. They
Well,
don't.
while you're still having those conversations starting to be built in Bill
Yeah,
Belichick and Mac Jones. So for me, man,
yeah,
Patriots win this. I'm gonna call it. They cemented their spot in the playoffs without even having to see the rest of their schedule.
I'm actually gonna take Buffalo this game.
Buffalo,
Yeah, yeah. I'm going Buffalo this week. 'Cause
damn.
I'm gonna give it to the home team. Buffalo needs this one. Pats. Um, where was it? And again, I won't take nothing away because Bill Belichick on his own, just being a coach, will always push your team to get the most out of them. And that's what he's doing. That team is playing great. But this week, I just got a feeling that Buffalo's going to stand up and do what they got to do this week. We have seen the Pats struggle with more senior quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I do think Diggs and Allen can and Knox in them. There's some little creases in there that with the Patriots defense, they just been really, really good running the ball and with turnovers. Yeah, they're playing all around great ball. Just for some reason, I just feel like the Bills, they need this one.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if I can fully trust
And they got 3 more days of rest because they played that Thursday night
mhm.
uh, Thanksgiving game.
If they can put the ball in their running backs' hands, right? I feel
Yeah,
like if they can run the ball effectively, if the Bills rush for 100, 120 plus yards, I'm gonna give it to the Bills. But I
yeah,
don't think they do that. I think they put the
yeah,
ball into Josh Allen's hands too much. And when it comes down to that Bill Belichick defense, man, they're just gonna play fundamental ball. Everyone's gonna play
yeah,
every everyone's gonna be on their assignments. Very, very Nick Saban-ish, right? Just just
yep,
just play a role.
yep,
Go play a role. Set the edge. If you need to set, if your job is to set the edge, set the edge. If your job is flats and hooks, play flats, play hooks. Just stay there.
yeah.
Don't do
This is
anything out of
definitely
the norm.
this is definitely a game that I'm gonna watch from start to finish.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm saying? It'll definitely be a game that I'm gonna watch from start to finish. So next Tuesday we'll be able to have a real good talk about this game specifically and what. But they got another matchup too with each other. So the Bills need this one because they still got to go back to New England in a couple weeks, I believe. So
Diggs is definitely gonna have to have a big game. I don't think he has a big game. I'm actually benching him in the fantasy league just
yeah,
because I got other receivers that I feel like are going against a weaker defense. I feel like if anyone has a big game this week, it's gonna be Dawson Knox and whatever running back they have out there.
yeah,
So, and that's including Josh Allen.
yeah,
So, but giving it to the Bills now. If the Bills win this game, are they going to cement their place in the playoffs?
the,
Even though we know that the Colts are coming, Colts are in
yeah,
10th right now. But
yeah. The Bills. There's no way the Bills can miss the playoffs. To me, I still think. I think right now we're trying to see who cements themselves. If the Bills cement themselves as contenders or just a playoff team.
mhm.
If the Bills lose this game and then miss the playoffs, again, I'm not gonna be like, yo, we gotta jump ship. But I'll be like, yo, it's definitely something concerning, and y'all need to address it this year.
Yeah,
I think there'll have to be some philosophy changes.
definitely, definitely.
So
And the very, very first one is going to be running the ball, man. Pound the rock.
yeah,
You want to be able to preserve a guy like Josh Allen and to be able
yeah,
to get the most out of a Stephon Diggs, Dawson
yeah,
Knox, those guys you have out there on the edge. You gotta run the ball. You gotta run the ball, man.
Yeah.
But last one for the playoff picture, man. The Broncos and the Chiefs. This is always. I'm gonna go back to my wrestling days, my WWE wrestling days. Good old Jim Ross. It's gonna be a good old fashioned slobber knocker.
Man.
Can't believe I said that.
Man. Man.
They're gonna be in Kansas City too, which is neighbors to where they play at right
Yeah.
now.
So
So
so this game is more for the Broncos. This game is 100% more because Andy's off a bye week. We know what Andy's like off a bye week.
he only has one
But
loss off a bye week.
if Denver could walk into KC and beat KC off of a bye week, because defensively they could, I don't think KC's gonna run up no score. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
no,
This
not
is,
at all.
yeah, I think Denver has the defense to, to compete. Definitely. I don't think this is one of them games where KC comes out and, goes for 40 points. Now what I got to see is what that offense can do. And they have the running backs in Gordon and Williams to just go get you a buck 50, a buck 75 on the ground and control the game.
Yeah.
So if Denver could walk in KC and get a dub, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I would say you guys are cemented because then they would have went into KC and won. The Raiders still have to go to KC, which they'll probably end up losing that, and you still see Broncos again. Like, yeah, I would take Denver winning this game and the Chargers loss to Cincinnati to be like, all right, I will give Denver a playoff spot.
Yeah. Those two Bronco running backs have the most broken tackles in the league right now when it comes to running backs
Yeah,
getting to that line, running into
yeah,
that first defender. So the fact that both of them are like number one and number two on that list is
yeah.
crazy to me.
That's why I wanted. That's why I personally wanted Javonte Williams because he was like, dude. The 2 years he played in college, he led the NCAA in broken tackles. Like, he
Yep.
don't really go down on first contact. And that's something that's sustainable is not going down on first contact.
He's continuing to show that. Very, very
Yeah,
Saquon Barkley ish his first couple of years in the NFL before he got hurt.
yeah.
So, but I think if the Broncos come in to win this game, I agree that they will cement their spot into the playoffs. I think they'll take away any opportunity for the Eagles to make the playoffs. Jalen Hurts might not even be playing this week because of his ankle. We'll
Oh
see.
wow.
I think that's more of just the coach being cautious and saying that because he got to say that, as
Yeah,
opposed to like Jalen's not going to play because he showed no effects of no injury during the whole game that they
yeah,
played this Sunday.
yeah,
I think this will definitely be one of those trip up games for the Chiefs.
yeah,
But I do think the Chiefs still come out on top. I still got to pick the Chiefs at home.
yeah,
I've been a hater of the Chiefs throughout the season, but in order to make sure I'm not on that wheel of consequences, man, I gotta go. I gotta go with the home
yeah.
team. I gotta go with Andy
I
off of the
can't
bye
go
week.
against. I would rarely ever go against Andy on a bye week unless I just feel like you're playing a team I know you're gonna lose to. But Andy off a bye week at home, divisional opponent, you need this. It's very difficult for me to be like, yeah, you lost. So I think they should. Again, yeah, I'm with Casey, and I'm with KC being the heavy favorites.
I think Casey got the whole complement of weapons. I think the biggest return for Casey was Clyde Edwards-Helaire coming back from injury.
Yeah,
Spent quite a few games on the sideline, but him coming back, man, I think rejuvenated them being able to be a well-rounded team because they couldn't run the ball for nothing, man,
nah, they
at
couldn't.
all. But the fact that they got
I,
Clyde Edwards-Helaire back,
Chris Jones, man, Chris Jones, and them actually playing Chris Jones back in the middle. Dude had three and a half sacks against Dak. Like, he was killing, and he's real disruptive in the middle when he gets it going. So I just think, just treat him like Aaron Donald, double team him up, and throw the ball at Daniel Sorensen every single time you have a chance.
facts,
Call it a day.
facts. So my biggest question for you is the win that the Raiders had over Dallas. They came into Jerry World. They took a dub from that team. Very, very close game from what it looked like. Right, very sloppy game for Dallas. Tony
Yeah,
Pollard was huge. I don't even think Ezekiel Elliott is playing this week.
yeah.
But what are your thoughts, man? Are you surprised? You surprised that the Raiders went into Jerry World and
No. I'm not surprised because the Raiders have the capability. It's just they're not stable enough for a lot of us. You know what I'm saying? They're not. Derek Carr leads the league in passing. You know what I'm saying? One thing we know is he's been productive there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the way that we like it, but he's been productive. Um, the Raiders are just so ugly on defense. You know what I'm saying? Like
That
they
all
really are.
started with the Khalil Mack trade.
Yeah,
Swear.
they're just so ugly on defense that like. So if you go to the KC game, one of the safeties got snatched on by the running back.
Mm-hmm.
It's a 50-50 ball. It's a 50-50 ball, and it's like, yo, just pick that. And the game's not what it looks like. It doesn't look as bad as it was. But then there's other games where the defense plays solid enough and the offense gets it clicking and going there. So they're like, I know we tend to stay away from the Raiders because they're not consistent enough. They really are a roller coaster. Now Dallas, I still think Dallas is a good team. I still think Dallas is a playoff team, but again, they're getting hurt and COVID stuff all at the wrong time of the year.
Yeah, CeeDee Lamb's coming
Like,
off a concussion. He didn't
yeah,
even play.
yeah. So we're like they're losing everybody at the time that you don't want to do that.
So
So I
no
don't.
CD, no Amari Cooper. You about to be without
Yeah,
Zeke this week. I think CD's gonna be back. I don't know if Amari Cooper's coming back this week,
yeah.
but
So
we'll see, man.
I'm not gonna lie. If there's a team you don't want to play, like right now, just because I know the coach, the Saints matchup will be a tough matchup for them. No Zeke, Demario Davis, like they do still have a good defense. It's just they're just so in a flux offensively because quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think
No,
Taysom Hill might be playing this week.
yeah. So I mean, again, you get 1 week of Taysom Hill, you don't know what he could do. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
you don't know what Taysom. They could RPO you to death with him and Mark Ingram, and your defense is just gonna get tired. You know what I'm saying? So I think it'll be a weird matchup. Um, I think the last thing Dallas wants to do is ask Dak to throw 35 plus times this game
yeah.
because the
Which
Saints.
it might turn into that, man. I know Tony Pollard has shown that he could be a workhorse, and I'm glad I got him on my fantasy team. For side note, those of y'all fantasy
Yeah,
folks out there, get Tony Pollard in there. You got to have him
yeah,
playing this week. But
yeah.
I
So
don't know,
Kellen
man.
Moore,
I agree. I agree for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, Kellen Moore's a dope play caller. Like he's a dope play caller. You know what I'm saying? He always finds a way, and if I'm him, I find a way to not let Dak throw the ball 35, 40 times this game. Use Tony Pollard. Be okay with playing a slow game because again, when you're hurt like that, speed the game up. Use the clock. Don't. It's not gonna be a sexy game. You know what I'm saying? Don't let it become a sexy shootout because that's where you'll probably lose. Because again, this Sean Payton in that defense, even though he's an offensive dude, they can scheme up enough to where they did give Tom Brady a L. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I'm like, they're fairly good on defense, bro. I still
for
think
sure.
Dallas comes out on top. I just think they're more when you get to the quarterback position at this point in time in the year, very important. Give Tony Pollard 25 total touches. He doesn't do it
Facts.
all the time. He doesn't do it
Facts.
all the time. So do it. Make sure you do it this week. I don't care if it's swing pass, dump offs, anything behind the line of scrimmage. Don't make Zach go out there and throw it 35, 40 times. Because again, you might not have Cooper and CD. You know what I'm
think
saying?
I think he averages anywhere from like 12 to 14 carries a game, and then
Yeah.
at least 5 6 targets. Just because
Yeah.
he's so proficient out of the backfield. But I
Yeah.
think CD's confirmed. I think he passed the concussion protocol for
Yeah.
this week. I think he had a full
Yeah.
practice today or tomorrow. He's good. He's going to be in full practice. So
But so maybe it's just me, but when have we seen CD take over a game as a receiver though?
as far as take over, man,
We've seen
he
him
had
make the
some
big
big
play.
games. Yeah, he's had some big games, but these are all like 5 to 7 catch games,
Yeah.
180 plus yards. You're 90 yards down the field. Like, cool.
Yeah.
I don't personally from that draft class of receivers. Justin Jefferson is the top of the top, right?
Yeah.
I gotta also look over at Jerry Judy.
Yeah.
Now, if I look at these three guys, even KJ Hamler, he came out of draft class too. I'm looking at those four guys' route running abilities. I almost got CD at the bottom
Yeah.
of those four. Just because the
Exactly.
way these dudes run their routes, man, crispy. They know how to create separation. I'm not saying that CD doesn't. I just think CD needs so much more of a runway in order to create that separation and to make a
Yeah.
big play.
Yep. And that's where I'm at too. That's why I'm like, CD's only gonna be. I mean, and I'm not gonna say it's not possible, but we don't see the continue. Like we don't see the 9, 11, 12 catch games where you dominate your matchup. You know what I'm saying? Cooper does that way more than you do. So like, if there's a time to be like, hey, you got to step up and kind of win this matchup because Lattimore is going to hold you. This is the week,
Yeah, for sure.
and so. But Pollard, man, like run the living day out of Pollard this week, and be for real. Make him show that he's actually as good as most people think he is.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Big
Like make
Pollard.
him show.
Pollard is that dude. I need him to be that dude this week. I need to win the rest of my games in fantasy in order to make the playoffs, which it ain't looking like that'll
Yeah,
happen. But I can at the very least spoil somebody's playoffs. So
yeah.
I do need
yeah.
Tony Pollard to come out.
Pollard needs 25 to 28 total touches this game. Slow the game down. I mean, like really slow the game down. Don't try to overdo Dak because again, you're missing vital weapons that make your offense as good as it was.
So I want to ask a
That's what
question.
I'm. Yep.
Last topic, not before we get into the last topic that we have. I want to ask a question about where you're at with Lamar Jackson. Heard a lot of talk over this last week. Ever since his last game, 4 interceptions, still found a way to win the game. Threw a prayer up to Mark Andrews, which he found a way to catch. Threw basically the game sealing touchdown to Mark Andrews at the end of the game, or in the fourth quarter. But where are you at with Lamar Jackson, man? He finds a way to win ugly games, and he hasn't found a way to lose them those games yet.
Yeah, yeah. And so I'm living with it. I'm living with that. I'm living with that off of one coach quarterback relationship. I don't think any of us should question him if Harbaugh doesn't question him. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? I don't think you should. Like Harbaugh's legit looking at this dude like, hey, you want to go for it? Okay, cool. If you have that type of like dying trust in your quarterback, I'm not gonna question you either. Lamar throws the same pass that Mahomes throws and he catches it, but we're almost criticizing the way he does it compared to the way Mahomes does it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? 4 TDs is it's bad. It's bad. But you're playing the Browns who you've played almost 12 times throughout the course of your career. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? They have a different game plan to you than most of the rest of the league has.
that's true.
Um, so I'm not gonna take it away, but I'm also gonna look directly at him and his response. And I'm gonna go, this dude literally said, I messed up. I made the game harder than I was supposed to. I put my teammates in a bad place, this and that. You go to the dude Baker on the other side, who after he beat the Lions and struggled, he didn't do none of that type of accountability for
He
himself.
sure did.
That's always gonna be my issue. So like Jay tagged me in the post of Cam Newton, I suck thing, right?
I saw
And
that.
he
I
was
saw
like,
that.
and he goes, well, why do you do this? I said, because people need somebody to hate. Everybody wants a big target to hate because it's easy to hate him.
Yep.
It's easy to hate Lamar. It's
No,
easy to hate
nobody's gonna
OBJ.
hate. Nobody's gonna
Yeah,
hate Baker Mayfield because he's Baker
yeah.
Mayfield. Like let's
He's
call it what
Baker
it is.
Mayfield.
Let's call it what it
Exactly.
is.
Well, even Joe Burrow, he's a good quarterback. But if Joe Burrow, if you literally replaced Lamar and Joe Burrow and just said, Lamar, I want you to talk in your interviews the exact same way Joe Burrow talks, you would have thought like this dude was selling drugs or something. You know what I'm saying? As a
Absolutely.
quarterback, as a quarterback, Lamar's one of the most winningest quarterbacks at his age. We all known his flaws, but he's grown and evolved from them. Yeah, you threw 4 picks. Yeah, this is a time when we can say, hey, you had a really bad game. Thank God that your team pulled it out. You won it. But his response is always going to be one of the reasons why I'm like, yo, I can get behind him because he's always holding himself accountable.
Yeah.
He's always openly apologizing to his team, like, I made it harder. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Even when like he won MVP, he's like, I need a Super Bowl. Like
Yeah. He's
his
like, I
mind,
don't
like
want this.
his mind is set on the one thing it's supposed to be set on. So like mentality wise, I'm never gonna question Lamar.
Yeah.
Never gonna question Lamar.
So
He doesn't know. Yeah,
this is my biggest problem with the NFL looking at it, right? So this is why the NFL is always going to be where they're at. and have the
Yeah.
problems that they have is because they have their token guy who just so happens to be half and half, right?
Yeah.
He's a light shade enough for them to be like, cool, Patty Mahomes, we ain't never gonna badmouth you. You had
Yeah.
a terrible first 8 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
We're okay with it because
Yeah.
you're a Super Bowl champion and you got paid $600 million. Lamar
Yep.
comes in here and beats you at home in the first time in his career, and we shrug it off.
Shrug it off.
Lamar's what, seven
Look.
and two, 8-2, something like that.
Yeah.
Oh no, nine and I think it's like 9-2, 9-3, 9-2, 9-3 right now. Y'all gonna continue to shrug that off? Like,
Yeah. It's where we like through the first 8 weeks of the year, Mahomes had more interceptions than Sam Darnold. You know what I'm saying? Like Mahomes had more interceptions. Like the people who he was around was people who were rookies or were trying to get out of the league. And you're just like, again, like you said, like we're shrugging it off, but we're making everything harder on one person more than we are another.
what?
You know, it's so I'm not. When you ask anything about Lamar, like you've seen him evolve, you've seen him get better, you see the offense going, and like you said, people only announce injuries when it's convenient. This team's been playing hobbled since before the year started.
Oh yeah, they lost
Since
both their running
yeah,
backs before the first game of the season.
before the first, they've lost
Gus
linemen.
Edwards,
Yeah,
J.K. Dobbins, they're missing
they've lost
linemen.
everything. They've lost so much before the year, just like Green Bay lost so much before the year. But you see two quarterbacks grinding it out, doing the little things they got to do to win games. Green Bay didn't have a cute game against Seattle, but they did enough of what they had to do
Yep,
to
yep.
win that game and to get out of there.
Speaking of
So,
Rodgers, so if I took Rodgers, everything that he's gone through in this season, including before the season, if I took him and I replaced him with Lamar Jackson would not be on that team. He would
no,
not. He would not be a starting quarterback for the Green Bay Packers.
mm-mm, no
And
way.
that's I mean that's going to continue to be my problem. It's been the problem since forever, man. We hear it in and out, up and down, left and right as many times as we can
Yeah,
hear it, but I don't know,
exactly.
man. It's to me it's like we talk about this with the Luka thing. The media controls so much to be able to say, "Yo, this is our guy next. He's next up."
Yep.
Even if he's losing, he's next up,
Yeah. And
and he
that's
just
and
continue to
that's
do that.
that's why I'm glad that there's other resources and people out there who can put numbers to things without having to have these driven media purposes
Yeah,
for whatever they need to keep the viewerships that they have to keep.
like Colin.
Because yeah, so I think Colin gets me a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Um, more of the bigger stuff. A lot of the guys who we're at, again, I'm very like super hit or miss with Colin sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like really, like some days I'd be like, "Yo, you killed that," and other days I'm like, "Yo, you gotta shut up, bro." So like that. But yeah, like when it comes to Lamar, if you again super bad game, he had the game to the Browns that Baker had to the Lions, and he took full responsibility. And Baker ducked media and all this and that, and you're not gonna do that. That was like,
My shoulder, my arm, my
yeah,
leg, my knee. We're
another
not fully
example.
healthy.
Manning lost the Super Bowl to Drew Brees. Manning walked off the field with like a minute left in the game. He's such a competitor, he couldn't wait to the end. He's such a competitor, he couldn't wait to the end.
Cam does it.
Yeah, Cam pouted on the field, still got up, went over there, shook his hand. Respect, Sheriff. Did all the pictures after. That's not what they want to keep. You know what I'm saying? That's why I really do. I've tuned off from so many people because if I see you do that, I'd be like, yo, you're just like this is the way you want to see it. This is the image of the person you want to keep that fulfills whatever desire, whatever worldview you have that helps you feel justified and not dealing with yourself. So cool, you can have that. You're just not the type of person that I'll give any energy to.
Hey man, I'm gonna go back to the question that we had on the spot, which was, where was it? What is one thing you wish you knew about that you'll never get answered? I always said this. Back in the Super Bowl with the Seahawks versus the Patriots, Pete Carroll sold his soul because Roger Goodell called him and said, "Yo, I do not need Marshawn Lynch being the
I believe.
MVP of
Hey,
this
I
MVP.
believe that with my life.
He
I
said,
believe
"I
that
do."
with my life.
He said, "I do
I
not
believe that
need
with my life.
Marshawn Lynch to have
Hey,
3 touchdowns and be the Super Bowl MVP
I
when
believe
this
that with
man
my
just
life.
roasted the media by standing. He didn't get
I believe.
fined
Hey, 'cause
because he's
we don't need the answer for that because we know it. I believe that with my life.
and this is why
Remember
Pete Carroll is still employed
the
even
same
through all of this Earl
the
Thomas
same reason
situation.
the same reason when Brady led the comeback against the Falcons, but James White had like 200 all-purpose yards and 12
Like
catches.
3 touchdowns.
And Brady was like, "Yo, this should be his award." And no, Brady, you're the quarterback. He's like, "No, this should be like James White killed it today. He had the game-winning
Game
touchdowns,
winning touchdown,
catches."
game
Yeah,
tying touchdown to send him to
yeah.
overtime.
Oh my god, everybody and their mama in the world knew you didn't give Marshawn that MVP because you knew the MVP didn't even go home. He went on to the Letterman show after the game to go to, and you did not want to hear Marshawn.
And
That's
and
yeah,
he was gonna be up there giving a speech.
yep,
Tell us about how you feel for being MVP. I'm just
yeah.
here so I don't get fined.
That is an absolute fact. That I will never leave that. I remember being at work. I remember specifically being at work. I said, "Yo, I'm not gonna." I was like, "I'm gonna just work today. I can watch it at work, whatever." I remember watching it. I remember them being on the 1 yard line, and I remember being like a couple minutes late from break. And I was like, "I'm gonna run back," but I know they're gonna give it to Marshawn. When I got to my machine, the lady was like, "Yo, they threw a pick. The game's over." I said, "They threw a pick? What do you mean? It was just on the 1 yard line." I said, "You're lying." They was like, "No, I'm not lying." I was like, "Quit." Pulled up the phone, showed me, and all of us said it. They didn't want Marshawn on them interviews.
Easy. And
Nobody
you
wants Marshawn
just
on.
based on the stories that Marshawn tells, looking at Russell Wilson when he makes the call, you could tell the call coming into Russell Wilson was, do not audible out of this play.
Yeah,
Either you're the MVP, you win this game, or we lose.
yeah,
Period. That's
yeah,
exactly what happened.
yeah.
Because this fool Marshawn was like, they called a what? Everybody in that huddle looked at Marshawn like
They call him. Yeah,
everyone in that huddle. Marshawn was like, everybody looked at me like they're not gonna give you the ball. They ain't
yeah.
stopped you once. You ain't had one negative play the whole game. And
Whole
the
game, bro.
shortest play for Marshawn Lynch that whole Super Bowl was a 5 yard run. Shortest play
That is
was
crazy,
a
yeah,
five
bro.
yard run.
We know the answer to that, and we know that's why. Yeah, that's so like a conversation came up, and we'll talk about it later when we talk about Hall of Fame players down the line. But like none of the dual threat quarterbacks are in the Hall of Fame. Randall Cunningham, Michael Vick, Donovan McNabb, Steve McNair. None of them are in the Hall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? None of them. There's no
I don't
hope for Cam.
I
You
don't
know what I'm
think
saying?
I don't think Steve
Yeah,
McNair will ever be in the Hall of Fame.
yeah. There's no hope. That's why people are like, well, Cam is like, yo, Cam's not gonna make it in.
Hold on,
Randall Cunningham,
there is a dual threat quarterback in the Hall of Fame. His name is Steve Young.
but they was like, you don't. They was like, the black dual threat quarterbacks are not in the Hall of Fame. Randall, like all of them, right? Warren Moon, like none of them are in the Hall of Fame.
Mike Vick got to be
And
there,
there's,
man. If y'all don't put
yeah,
Mike Vick there, man, y'all are saying everything that we know already.
yeah,
We don't want you in the Hall of Fame. We don't want the future of our NFL to look like this.
nah, yeah, exactly.
We'll
Is
put a couple of defensive players in there because that's where y'all should be playing.
yeah, that's the weird part. And we'll there's people who I'm starting to see have interesting theories about the Hall of Fame now. Um, and how that should and shouldn't go and stuff like that. But we'll get to that another time. But yeah,
It's a whole
that's
nother
something that you know
popularity
how that
contest.
goes.
But all right, man, getting into the very last segment of the day, we got
MVP.
MVP nominations. Now you did send this out to the chat, our group text to kind of get some thoughts. We got a couple of folks inputting in there. Tua's was the most interesting. Who do you have
Jonathan
at
Taylor.
Jonathan
He had
Taylor
Taylor, Rogers, and
and
Brady.
Lamar? No, he didn't have
Yeah,
Brady. He had Taylor's,
yeah,
Rogers, and
Lamar.
Lamar.
Lamar. Taylor, I'll only accept Taylor now as a dark horse because he is coming along strong now.
Mm-hmm.
If he finish out at this pace and they lock up their division, like they would have to win their division up. Then I'll be like, okay, I think I'll I can start to make an argument for you. You know what I'm saying?
I can't. It's hard for me
Yeah.
to even make an argument.
Yeah,
So
it'll be a start, but it'll be nothing that I'll be like I could actually consider giving it to you.
yeah, I can't put him. I can't even put him in the conversation or even the top five. Reason being is Derrick Henry hit 2K last year. There was no whispers of him in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
None. 2K. There's only a handful of players that have done that. 2,000
Yeah.
yards rushing. They did not talk about this man one time.
Yeah.
And so,
And it
like,
took them like 3 weeks to finally catch up to him with rushing yards this year.
yeah, and he's been out
So
for 4 weeks.
yeah.
So, like, for me, I look at it like, I don't know, man. It's a good, like, feel good story that we would like to happen. All right. But if we're talking about
Yeah, I would consider
realistically,
him off maybe offensive player of the year is something maybe I could look at maybe more
yeah.
so at that.
But
Yeah,
I
but
think
for me it will be
I think we agreed
Rogers,
with
Lamar,
ours.
and Brady. Yeah,
Yeah.
Rogers, Lamar, and Brady, and that's my exact order. And those are the only three guys as of right now I feel should even be in consideration for the conversation.
Yeah. I agree with that for sure.
Kyler's missed too much time.
I think a lot of them
Rogers,
that I saw, Tom Brady was the clear favorite
yeah,
this far. To me, I think Brady hasn't played. Yes, he's having statistically one of his best years of his career.
yeah,
But again, it's just going back to what are the quality what's the quality of contribution that you're having to your team's wins. You're
yeah,
blowing out teams you should blow out.
yeah,
And then you
yeah,
go play teams like the Saints and they beat you
yeah,
and your contributions is 2 picks.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Even in wins that they're not blowing out teams, it doesn't come from a Tom Brady last minute drive.
yeah, yeah.
It comes from the defense holding it down and turning over the ball.
So what? Yeah. So like when I look at Rodgers, I look at Rodgers playing without all the people beating Arizona. I
Mm-hmm.
look at Rodgers missing 1 week and his team losing by a touchdown, but clearly needing him that game.
Mm-hmm.
I look at how he's beaten the Rams. I look at how he's bounced back from the first week and how important he is to the team up to now. I even look at the fact that he only had 1 day of practice before he got into the Seattle game.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And how that was a game changer. Uh, I think right now Lamar is second, only because I just think Rodgers performed better than Lamar has in certain areas. I'm not gonna knock him for the 4 pick game like as much as most others would,
Yeah.
but I just think overall right now Rodgers is clearly not clearly. Rodgers has just been a little better up to this point. I think Brady is there, but in the losses Brady's taken, like he was kind of like done for in them games. Like they kind of had him wrapped up. Yes, his team is hurt too. His team is hurt too. But his numbers does come off the fact that his volumes is higher than all of these guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like his volume is higher than these guys. The competition that they, like I said, they blew out who they were supposed to blow out, struggled against some teams who were better than being some of these sorry teams.
The football
Uh,
team. Watched the football team
yeah,
last week.
yeah. And so I think those are the only three people who should be in the conversation.
So
Again, saying
Rodgers, Brady.
Kyler just missed too much time for me to be like, oh, you're gonna come back and I can give it to you. Like, nah, I can't.
Yeah.
Rodgers, Lamar, and Brady are the only three people who should be in consideration for the MVP award.
Yeah. I agree for sure. And I mean, it's hard to really put it. I can't put no defensive player in there either because there just hasn't been a
No.
dominant performance at all. Like the last dominant performance we saw was Aaron Donald a handful of years ago,
Yeah.
and they didn't even give
Yeah.
it to him then,
Yeah.
right? So I don't think I mean, I think it's safe to say I don't think we'll ever see a defensive player win MVP for the next 5-10 years based on what we see coming
Yeah.
out of college.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be good. Yeah.
So
That just don't look good at all.
that's the last topic, man. And any final thoughts going into week 13?
Nah, man. The season went by is going by so fast. And these next 5 weeks are gonna tell. I mean, we've been saying it. I'm definitely excited for this week. I'm definitely excited for this week, especially to see the Pats, Bills, the Bengals, and the Chargers, and KC in Denver. Like 3 matchups. I'm really like, all right. I want to see how these teams play out, all at different time slots too.
I need Philly to win, man. I need
Oh yeah,
Philly to win. I don't even think we play the Jets. We better not lose to the Jets, bro. If we lose to Zach Wilson and the Jets, Joe Flacco and the Jets after we cut Joe Flacco.
yeah. I don't know, man. They've been weird too. They've been weird. Like they perform out of nowhere. So they been kind of weird.
Is Rookie of the Year clear for you this year already? With Jamar Chase, 5 weeks left? Offensive Rookie of the Year,
Um,
excuse me. I
yeah,
think
I
Trevon
like.
Diggs got defensive locked up.
Uh, need Micah Parsons for rookie.
Micah
Um,
Parsons.
you said for rookie, defensive rookie.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Trayvon second year. Um, so I want to say Jamar Chase. Yeah, so like right now I would go Jamar Chase and then Mac Jones second. But Jalen Waddle's starting to really ball and they starting to kind of get something going.
Ooh,
So if Jalen Waddle
yeah.
keeps it up. His stats now that they're winning and stuff is starting to look like he's been under the radar getting it together. So you don't be shocked, man. He could put together a nice last couple weeks here. But
Jalen
yeah, I would
Waddle.
definitely say Chase is definitely it right there for me right now.
Jamar Chase. I agree. Jamar Chase is definitely right there. Cool. Couple days, man. We'll be back here again for our NFL episode or our NBA episode. Excuse me.
NBA,
A lot of stuff going on in the NBA, man. Just to kind of get a preview before we go into that episode on Thursday. Um, Scary hours for James Harden.
yeah,
That man said scary hours at the beginning of the season. He just been taking a dump
yeah,
in his
yeah.
production this year, man.
He's struggling. I'm not gonna say he's struggling. Maybe this is the new him that we got to get used to.
Kobe and T Mac, all these dudes, Dirk Nowitzki, they all said it, man. Like the type of basketball he plays, you're gonna get that type of volume and those types of numbers on a team where you are the number 1 and 2 guy.
Yeah,
You know what I
yep,
mean? So now that he's the number 2 guy, and
yeah,
your job is to facilitate to the best scorer, the real best scorer in the world. Dudes
yeah,
forgot because his Achilles was torn, but
yeah,
Golden State
yeah,
Warriors looking scary, man. Clay's coming back.
yeah. Plays. Oh man, that. Uh,
They
I
got
hate Jaws injury because it's just like kind of non-contact, and I always hate non-contact kind of like violent injuries. They seem to be some of the worst at the end of the day.
he got lucky, man. They said it was just a sprain.
Yeah,
So
but yeah, we're really starting to get into the thick of it here with the NBA, man. Hey, it's really that time. It's a great time of the year. Real important basketball and football coming up.
sure.
Like, yeah,
Before we go, man, the selfish moment. Talk to me about your Hornets.
they're at where they're at. So they're at where they are exactly where they need to be at. Where I know they will be at. Good team at home, bad team away, and we. I knew how important Cody Martin was. I'm now learning how important Plumlee is because defensively they're just two different teams, but both of them was missing the last 2 games. So yeah, they gotta figure something out defensively. The inconsistency, like we make a lot of steals, but they give up too much inside and they run these zones. So they gotta find a way to be better defensively. They got Milwaukee tomorrow, which is a matchup I'm gonna be interested in seeing how they deal with Giannis and that team. So
You guys think you make a splash in before the trade deadline?
I seen a rumor around that said the Rockets is open to moving Christian Wood.
Please don't send
So
Christian Woods to the Hornets, man.
so
And
they yeah
for
they
me, that's strictly fantasy purposes.
yeah
Nothing to do
they
with your team.
yeah they put it up. I don't know how true it is, but somebody did post up a couple links saying that the Rockets are entertaining moving Christian Wood. So we'll see, man. I mean, I would love to have Christian Wood. I think he's a good player.
They're flossing
Uh,
him, man. He had a
yeah,
30 and 15 game the other day.
yeah, they
Um,
had one against us too. So yeah,
Big news,
he's
man.
out.
Big news for the
They
Bucks,
just
man. They just signed Cousins. Who
I don't know how. Yeah, I don't know how
I
serious to
think
take
y'all
Cousins,
should have
man.
picked up Cousins personally.
No, He doesn't
Just,
match the attitude of what they want.
I
He
mean,
doesn't.
he doesn't, but I think he brings that Montrezl Harrell type. Like, look,
Yeah.
I'm coming off the bench to punch you in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. They gotta. It's just not them to make in season moves. It hasn't been Mitch, and since Mitch and JB have taken over, making in season moves just isn't their thing.
same with Mitch when he was
Uh,
over in LA, man. Same
yeah.
exact thing. We ain't made no
So
in-season
he,
moves. We just took the L and figured it
yeah.
out.
They believe they have a good enough team to be playoffs. They're like, yo, we are a playoff team. I think they're just trying to work through how to become a better defensive team right now before we get there. And it's like they're trying things out. So like I said, we gotta being a better team away, man. Being a better team away. These road trips is exposing us on that part, the maturity level.
Y'all had what,
So
Chicago yesterday?
Chicago, we had who before? I can't remember who. Yeah, we lost to Houston, we lost to Chicago, and then we got Milwaukee tomorrow, and then I forgot who we got Friday. We got a 4-game road trip. Bad part is we only have four home games to the end of the year. Yeah.
Ugh.
So out of like our next 18 games, like we only have 4 at home. But
We
then
gotta.
from January to April, we only have like 10 away games.
That's
And
not bad.
so yeah. So it's a tough trade off. Again, I'm just kind of asking to get to that part at 500.
Cool. We'll dig into that a little bit more in a couple days here on Thursday. TTE talks on NBA. NBA
NBA.
Thursday. We'll have a ticker up. We'll also check in on the game on Thursday. Who's playing? Who's got the Thursday game this week? The Cowboys and the Saints. Cowboys and the Saints. We'll check in on that game and see how that's looking on Thursday.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, man. Any final thoughts?
No final thoughts, man. Good to go. Good
Cool.
to go.
We'll see y'all Thursday. You'll see the three-headed monster in myself, Vita. Probably should be back on
And
Thursday.
Follow should
So
be back. We'll be
we'll
good to
see y'all
go.
on Thursday.
Let's go. We out of
Have a good
here.
night, y'all.